Hello, how y'all doing? I urge you to cook. I urge you to learn how to cook. Either you learn how to cook or you're going to starve. Those are your only two choices. Now, if you're 16 or older, I urge you to learn how to cook simple meals, soup and bread and whatnot. You don't have to cook 7-layer lasagna. You don't have to cook that. Um, I have seen elderly people starving. As teen elderly people are dependent on other people to feed them, either the nursing home or Meals on Wheels, which is a lovely organization. And there are a lot of other charitable organizations like that, Meals on Wheels, that help elderly or shut ins. But see, what's the bigger truth in the matter? Now, look, I know people are sick and they have special chemicals that they need to take for their medical issues. I know that. But what's the truth? They're too trifling and lazy to cook for themselves, so they depend on Meals on Wheels and other people to deliver some hot food to them because they're too lazy to go to the corner store, get some soup, get some vegetables, and cook a whole pot of soup. They're too lazy to do that. See, a lot of these seniors, they were partying. They were partiers when they were young, going to the clubs and whatever, so they can cook nothing. So now that they're old, they're still in the habit of not cooking. And so they don't do nothing. They're too lazy and trifling to cook. I've seen that too many times. Because, see, these are lifelong habits. If you're lazy when you're young, you're going to be lazy when you're old. I don't care how much food you get this $800 in food stamps. Most of you women who get this $800 in food stamps, y'all don't make any food from scratch. You just get a frozen meal, pop it in the oven, and that's what your children have to eat. Garbage. And one stupid welfare woman freely admits that most of her children eat junk. And look, those same children, they're going to be the criminals of tomorrow that eat junk all day. They're going to be they're going to be the non-achievers, the criminals of tomorrow. And I feel sorry for you, people that got to deal with them. Look, if you don't cook when you're young, when you get my age and beyond, you're not going to cook when you're old. You're going to be starving. I've seen it too many times. I saw it in my own family. I had a great aunt. She cooked all her life, all of her young life. When she was old, she still cooked her own food. And then, on the other hand, there are some relatives who didn't cook when they were young because they were busy good timing, whatever. And so when they got old, they still didn't cook. But depend on other people to cook their food, to cook their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay? I've seen plenty of old people that can cook their own food. If you don't know how to cook, guess what? You're going to starve, particularly when you get my age. I'm telling you what I know. And look, I like Meals on Wheels. There's a lot of organizations like Meals on Wheels that make sure sick and shut-ins are fed. They are really nice and really sweet. I'm talking about people that's trifling and lazy. They were lazy, too lazy to cook when they're young, and now they still too lazy to cook when they're old. They're in their old age and still too lazy to cook. Look at the women of Kentucky. They cook all their lives. In their old age, they still cooking. They still cooking for themselves and relatives. They're not dependent on Meals on Wheels. They're not dependent on that. They still cooking because they weren't too lazy when they were young to cook, and they're not too lazy when they're old to cook. And plus, a lot of them have a garden. So I urge you right now to learn how to cook, even if you just cook simple foods. If you just cook vegetables and soup and the Pillsbury biscuit, I urge you to cook. Learn how to cook when you're old. I don't care if you're male or female or in between. Learn how to cook so you can feed yourself when you're old, when you get my age and beyond. In fact, I urge you to learn how to do for yourself. Learn how to cook for yourself. Learn how to clean up your environment. Make sure your kitchen's clean, your bathroom is clean, your living room is clean. Make sure you can cook for yourself. If you don't cook anything but a simple soup, make sure you cook for yourself. Learn how to cook for yourself. Either you're going to cook or you're going to starve. Those are your only two options. Bye.